Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld, and today we're going to take a look at a theme loadout inspired by US Navy SEAL sniper Chris Kyle. Chris Kyle was credited with more confirmed kills than any other sniper in US history, and is probably best known for his best-selling autobiography, American Sniper. This book has since been made into a feature film which is due to be released on December 25th, starring Bradley Cooper and directed by Clint Eastwood. Should be definitely one worth checking out, and for all of you guys who want to learn more about Chris Kyle's story, or the US Navy SEALs in general, I'd highly recommend giving American Sniper a read. But anyway, Chris Kyle's story starts on April the 8th, 1974, when he was born in Odessa, Texas. Throughout his early life, Chris had an interest in hunting in the outdoors and later went on to work at a ranch and become a professional bronco rider. His career as a rider was ended when he injured his arm, and this led him to pursue his dream of a career in the military. Kyle initially signed up for the US Marines but was ultimately rejected because of the pins in his arm from the riding accident, and he eventually ended up instead joining the Navy in 1999. Chris was given the opportunity to attend BUDS, or Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL School, and completed the grueling program despite suffering a fractured foot and an ear infection during the program. He was then assigned to SEAL Team 3 based in Coronado, California, initially as a light machine gunner and later as a sniper. Kyle served 4 tours in Iraq in which he reportedly killed at least 160 enemy soldiers, so many in fact that the Iraqi forces put out an $80,000 bounty on his head. For his actions, he was awarded 7 awards for bravery, including 2 Silver Stars and 5 Bronze Stars, and is still to this day the deadliest sniper in US history. Kyle retired from the military in 2009 to spend more time with his wife Taya and 2 children, and took up a position with Craft International, a tactical training company. In 2012, Kyle gained international exposure when his controversial book American Sniper was released, and in this year he also made an appearance on the reality TV show Stars Earn Stripes. It was through his work helping returned veterans deal with PTSD, though, that Kyle was gunned down and killed without warning on the 2nd of February 2013 at a Texas gun range by former Marine Chad Littlefield. Chris Kyle was 38 at the time of his death, but it's safe to say that the legend he forged in Iraq will be remembered for generations to come, and his name will go down in history alongside other American heroes like Alvin York and Carlos Hathcock. In American Sniper, Chris talks about some of the rifles he used on deployments in addition to his M4 carbine. He used a Mark 12 and Mark 11, which are both semi-automatic rifles based on the AR-15 platform, as well as a few custom .300 Winchester Magnum bolt-action rifles and a Macmillan TAC-338. Chris would almost always snipe from concealed positions with a suppressor to reduce felt recoil and obviously the sound, but he'd leave it off on the move to allow for better mobility in close quarters. Suppressors are something that you just don't necessarily associate with sniper rifles in BF4, but I guess that just goes to show that sometimes real-world setups work entirely different to how they do in-game. Now, I should mention that this setup was suggested by callsign Avenger91 in the comments of my last loadout video, but I've changed it up a little from what he suggested. He originally suggested using the Goal in place of the TAC-338, which does kind of make sense, but I've decided instead to run with the Mark 11 because this is actually a rifle Chris ran with in real life. On the Mark 11, I'm running with the ACOG scope, bipod, canted iron sights, heavy barrel and the spray desert camo because I think this gives a good impression of the sort of weapon he would have gone on patrol with. As my secondary, I'm running with one of his favourite pistols, the M1911 with ghost ring suppressor and tac light, and to round out this loadout, I'm running the recon kit with PLD and claymores. But anyway, how does this loadout perform in-game? Well, I've got to say that the Mark 11 is definitely one of my favourite DMRs, and the M1911 is a pretty good pistol too. The problem is, they don't really suit each other, and I think I probably would have preferred a 93R or something to compensate for the DMR's disadvantage in close quarters. As for the attachments, well, I think they're pretty spot on for these guns, but I have to say that I'm more of a fan of a run and gun DMR setup these days than a long range setup like this. All in all though, I think both of the guns ran very nicely and they suit the theme to a T, so no real complaints here. The key to making this loadout work, I think, was to make use of the higher powered optic and the bipod, because in CQB you really don't have a lot to deal with high RPM automatic weapons. You'll see a number of times in this video I run out of ammo with the M1911 and barely make it out alive, but what you can't see is the dozens of times I got killed for the exact same reason. The Mark 11 is fortunately a very good DMR for long range targets, so you shouldn't have too much trouble taking out guys between 50 and 150 meters. Just make sure that you don't camp on the bipod for too long, because that's a really good way to get yourself killed very quickly. So to finish up, is the American Sniper loadout worth using, and if anything, what would I change? Well, I think adding a suppressor would still fit with the theme, but it would also unfortunately mess with the muzzle velocity of the Mark 11 and make hitting long-range shots that much harder. I'm not really a huge fan of the claymores either, so I'd probably switch them out for maybe a beacon or the motion pulse or something as well. I think for authenticity though, you can't really beat this loadout, so all in all, I give this setup a big thumbs up for being accurate, as well as effective in-game. But anyway, that just about wraps up this loadout, so let me know what you think in the comment section below, and feel free to suggest a theme for my next episode. As always, if you like what you see, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and if you haven't already, please check out all my other Battlefield 4 videos. I've got them all linked in a playlist in the description below. But until next time, see you later, and have a good one.